So I thought this would be an interesting topic to actually talk about. I recently had an interview. If you guys haven't been following this channel, I kind of like go through what's been happening with like my employment and previous jobs and then where I ended up now. If you guys don't realize or if you didn't know, I'm not happy here either. There's current issues that just didn't get resolved and I feel like it's just not going to get resolved. So I've been looking at other places as well. But quite interestingly, in the interview I had today, it went really well. But then at the end, they asked me like, do I have any questions for them? I just asked them, the regular ones like, why are you hiring? Is it a growth in the company? Is it just like quick and out and blah, blah, blah. My last question was, how is AI being implemented in your company, or is it being implemented at all? Not the hiring manager, the person above him, which was in the interview as well, said that she uses it all the time. In the finance world, she's already using it all the time to pull reports, to do her job. It is a very useful tool. Then it went to the hiring manager and he said that they are being told to use AI tools, but there's been a bit of a pushback with the team not really wanting to learn how to do it and all that, but it will be implemented into the rest of the team, just like how his boss is using it for reports. I'm guessing just from the way he was saying it, he probably wasn't really like up for it either. So like he probably wasn't using it as much, but because I brought it up maybe in front of his boss, he kind of has to say like, yeah, we are going to be doing it, But it did just make me think like, it's only a matter of time before all of these jobs that I'm applying to, like in my specific field, will no longer really be viable. It will get to a point where we're all fighting for like that ma and pa like store that still hasn't like integrated AI, and it'll be like the whole job market of people trying to find real jobs again. Like we're all fighting for these like low end income roles, like they'll probably degrade our salary so much because there's AI alternatives. We're not robots, we're human, we make mistakes. So it just made me think, like, are we really safe in this job market? Not only in finance, but in other roles as well. So I'm just gonna flick between this video and another one. And yeah, just give you my ideas and my thoughts on it, because I don't feel like we're in a safe space, really.
And never hearing back. And we've all heard the chat about AI taking our jobs, and there have been some recent studies that suggest that AI is making it harder for younger people and grads to get their first jobs. So is AI after your job, and what can you do to adapt? I'm speaking to Natalia Jimenez, a BBC reporter in New York. Hey, Natalia, welcome back.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so firstly, this chat about AI taking entry-level jobs, how big of a problem is it? What do the studies say?
So, the quick answer is yes. We're going through an AI disruption phase. That's the phrase that you're often going to hear. So, yes, AI is starting to replace jobs, and particularly entry-level jobs. Those are the first on the chopping block. And that's because they're often administrative, they're digital, they're repetitive. They're basically jobs that AI can learn quite easily, make more efficient, go faster. That's very attractive to companies that are starting to look to cut costs. So yes, young people are suffering the most. And we see that in the numbers too. Stanford did a study and it said that since late 2022, right when ChatGPT went big, people aged 22 to 25 have seen a 13% drop in jobs and roles that are easy for AI to handle. So I'm talking software development, marketing, customer service. Meanwhile, older workers are not affected in the same way. So that's why the study essentially calls young people canaries in the coal mine.
There's a real problem, because if people aren't being accepted at entry level.
So obviously this is a problem for anybody that's like a graduate or first joining into the working world, because this is basically taking away that first step that people are using to basically build their career. If all administrative roles and lower positions are gone, how are you supposed to find work as a brand new person to the workforce? Like, you don't have 10 years worth of experience. You don't even know how to do everything in the working world. I don't know if it was only me, but when I was first studying, and then I got my first apprenticeship and I got my first job after my apprenticeship, I still felt very out of place. I didn't really know how to do things in the job. I was very oh, I don't want to fuck things up too much. Just tell me what to do. I'll try my best to do it. I was very I don't really want to rock the boat. I understand for somebody that's completely brand new to the working world, this is now going to be 10 times more intimidating, that you're going to basically have to shine through all of these other candidates that just will not even have a chance either. So I'm just imagining 10 years time, you're already struggling to find something. Imagine when they really improve that AI, and when AI starts learning off itself, yeah, you're going to have to really know somebody, or already be built in with your family and your heritage to not really have to worry about this kind of shit, or just basically live off the state. I don't see any other option, really.
Then they can't progress up the chain, and then they can't get the expertise to get to those kind of more secure mid and top level jobs, the ones where they have those soft skills that can't be imitated.
Soft skills. That's actually a topic that I believe they'll pick up on, because as far as I can see, everywhere I go on the internet, like everybody always talks about soft skills being the only thing that separates you from AI. The fact that you have genuine emotions, you can actually read people's like feelings, you can talk to people with empathy, whereas AI is all guesswork. You know, like they don't know if they should be a little bit softer tone. They're getting there already. There are videos of people breaking the AI system with basically empathy based questions. So for example, like you're not supposed to be able to ask, I think it's like for explosives and like specific like illegal ingredients to make things, right? They were tricking it with like questions like, I'm a this and I really need this. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get fired. Please, can you help me? Please, please, please. And ChatGPT and all these other AI systems were folding to it nearly 78% of the time, I believe it was. If you're able to trick AI right now with empathy questions, give it a bit more time. And what these companies are using it for, or like using you for empathy that AI can't do yet, I'm pretty sure they'll get to a place where they can do it. And the fact that AI doesn't take offense to people's dipshittery, like let's just call it that. For example, like if you're in like Walmart, Tesco in UK, or like Asda, whatever, right? And you're having to deal with like the worst possible person, right? You as a human have limits. Give them a little bit more time, you're gonna crash out. AI, on the other hand, won't. They won't crash out. They will just take it, you know, forever. If they have to, it doesn't matter to them. Like you're just using up a bot's time. Like the bot has unlimited time. I feel like that's going to be a problem eventually. Again, with unlimited time, it can learn. It doesn't even have to have real empathy. It just needs to be able to make you happy. Like that's genuinely all it needs to do.
Or replaced by AI. And of course, this isn't the only thing that's affecting the US job market at the moment. What are some of the other things that have been going on for young people?
Right. So this is kind of part of a bigger shift. So we obviously have macroeconomic factors. So after the pandemic, there was a chilling in the job market. Basically, people are hiring less. So that's one of the issues that we're dealing with too. There's an oversaturated market. More people have college degrees, so there are more people applying for, administrative jobs, less so, jobs in retail. Those jobs in retail and healthcare, the ones that need a little bit more human interaction, they're still going. People are still hiring. Whereas the ones that need maybe, a college degree in the sense of computer science, that was a job that was very, very in demand a few years ago. Now that's starting to decline. So yeah, the macroeconomic shifts right now in the economy, it's not great. And then AI and then an oversaturated market.
So you're basically going to be leaving people with only taking the most unfavorable jobs, because all the computer science and like cozy kind of cushy jobs are going to be gone because it'll be very easily taken over by AI. But which ones are not taken over by AI? The ones that you're gonna have to like move people physically, wipe up people's piss and shit. Your garbage man is probably okay. Postman may be okay for a bit longer. When you come to doing jobs where people are like looking at the office-based environment, they're probably the ones that are in danger.
It's like the perfect storm.
And let's hear it from some of you guys who got in touch and are looking for work. This is Zola in France.
I work in the fields of arts and culture. I hold 2 master's degrees, one in political and social sciences and another one in cultural policy and administration. I have now been looking for a job for a year with more than 200 applications sent. I think that I'm
in the same boat. Before I got my current role, I sent out between 200 and 300 applications. It took me, I believe it was like next to 3 months just to get my next position, which I'm currently in. That isn't unheard of. Like that is, for me, I believe that. That sounds like a understatement, if anything. What's crazy is that she has a master's, because I feel like if you had a master's, that shouldn't happen to you.
My part, there is several frustrations that I'd like to highlight within this job hunting process. The lack of formal answers from employers, the disregard for experiences linked to internship or traineeships or even voluntary contacts. I do not believe that AI should or can.
And also, she probably got like a lot of ghost jobs that she applied to, which I'm pretty sure I did as well. You can't prove it, even though it's illegal to have ghost jobs. Businesses need to make their companies look like they're actually growing, make their balance sheets look better for whatever expenses they're really wasting their money on. That's the truth. Yeah, I feel like not only her, not only me, like a lot of people in this country, other countries as well, have been taken advantage by these stupid big companies. They've just been like actually taking the piss.
Replace an artist or a playwright, but it has been increasingly used to do so in several cases. And so for me, it is a growing political and ecological concern.
And we got this from Laura in the US.
I just know so many people applying to jobs right now, and like every company, not even tech anymore, right? The federal government, entertainment, media.
Yeah, this is actually crazy to me because I'm in the UK and it's crazy to see people across the pond having the same struggle. Like I know it's happening. I've seen it on paper. I've seen like the numbers and other people talking about it. Not like this way where people are actually like coming on interviews and stuff. I'm always hearing like another YouTuber talking about like, yeah, the job market's bad, but they don't actually work like us. Like they don't go for a 9 to 5. They're most of the time just like doing it as a YouTube channel, because I'm watching like big guys. But it's crazy to me to see like real people struggling the exact same way that I was before I got this position. Like, man, I've never had 3 months of unemployment, and these people, they're coming out of uni and stuff. Who knows, like she could be renting her place and then she can't find a job. Like you're gonna lose everything that you own. It's crazy.
Consulting, finance, they're all laying off people. So every industry is, getting impacted. And right, when more people are laid off, more people are looking for jobs, but there just aren't enough spots for everyone. I think it's so tough for young people to find jobs right now because, right, when companies are laying people off, they're usually laying off the most junior people, right? So they lay off the 20-somethings who just started working, right? That's
Yep. Last in, first out. One of my colleagues that I'm currently working with actually came from one of the previous places I used to work for. And she was telling me that she had a 6-month contract, but it ended up being only a 3-month contract because her manager went on maternity leave and the person that came to replace her was a transformation manager. And he said to her, the last people that came in are most likely going to be the first people to get laid off. He even told her, like, you might want to have something lined up. You're probably not going to be finishing your 6-month contract. Crazy.
what happened to me when they laid off my team at Google. It was all the newest hires, right? So basically everyone in their 20s got let go. I feel like
Fucking Google as well, man.
most people I know have been impacted by layoffs at least once, if not twice.
And here is Tiffany Lee, a recent graduate.
And she's early 20s. Everybody that she knows in her early 20s have already been laid off once, if not twice. Most likely twice. Crazy.
New York.
The company that I worked at Apple when I was an intern last summer. They didn't have the headcount for a full-time employee. And there are a lot less new grad opportunities. There used to be more.
So when she worked at Apple, they had enough space for her to basically work for free. Now that they have to pay her, they don't have no space no more. So basically, if you're not free, you can't compete with AI.
Specific new grad programs out there for seniors to apply to. Sometimes I'll feel more motivated and hopeful, especially if I've been interviewing or I'm in the later ends of an interview stage. I'll start feeling more hopeful, imagine.
And this is just off topic, right? But as an Asian speaking about this, when you don't have shit and your family sees you not doing shit, the amount of pressure that you get from your family, I'm sure for other races as well, right? But you hear the stereotype of why are you no doctor? Why are you no this? And then 5 seconds later, why are you no married? And my family may not have been like that as much, but there was a lot of you're not going to help pay the bills. You're not going to help do this. You're not going to help do that. Do something while you're here. And that's torn the divide of my family. I don't even speak to my family no more because of that kind of shit. I'm not saying that it's the job market's fault. I'm saying that for anybody in the job market right now, you may have a lot more people just despising their family from all the cultural pressure that you get, the usual shit. A lot of people just not going to deal with it no more.
Seeing myself in this job already, but other times, I'll be waking up in the middle of the night or I can't sleep and I'm just thinking about how much longer will I be kind of stuck in this limbo, I guess, between school and, adulthood. So it is a little sad sometimes, but I think it helps that I'm not alone and there are a lot of other people going through the same thing.
And talking about what some of the big companies have said, I've seen things from Duolingo and Amazon talking about how AI is going to change the way they hire in the future. What is the message being sent out from these big companies right now?
So Amazon's CEO was pretty direct in a message he sent to employees back in June. He basically said that generative AI is going to reduce the corporate workforce over the next few years quite significantly.
That's crazy. I actually had an interview at Amazon as well in UK. They didn't say anything about AI to me. This was to do with process. What was it called? It was the EU process, something like that. It was process handling. It was to basically mitigate issues when something came arise, stock inventory issues. You guys know that I'm from finance. This had nothing to do with it. This is taking a complete detour from careers. I was going into stock and inventory, logistics kind of shit. But it got to a point where I just couldn't find work anymore. And I was just anything will go, anything will do. So I got an interview, landed it with Amazon. And yeah, I never heard anything like that. They didn't tell me that they were doing AI. They actually said that they were trying to grow. I really have a bad opinion of Amazon and working for Amazon. Not because of all the stories you hear about the people that died in the hurricane or pissing in bottles and shit like that. I'm just having a bad opinion because I feel these people lie. When I went to the interview, I aced it. And they just took me for a fucking ride.
Doesn't mean they're not going to hire anyone new. They're still going to bring in people to teams that are maybe a little bit more AI heavy, but they expect to need fewer humans in general. And that's going to land on youngest staff the most, again, because they're doing these repetitive jobs. But the ones that need less judgment, less critical thinking, that's going to be replaced by AI. That's where they're going to want to save money. At Duolingo, the CEO has said pretty much the same thing. They're AI first now. They already cut contractors. They're striking employees. And not only that, but they're actually using AI as part of their evaluation process. So they're looking at how their employees are using AI in their day-to-day to make themselves more efficient. So it's not just enough to do your tasks well. The company now wants you to prove that you're using AI and you're thinking about how to improve the work you're doing with AI tools. So
that's scary. Like this new role that I applied for, that I just did the interview literally today of this recording, by the way. I hope they don't do that to us, because from my interview, it sounded like the manager was not implementing it at all. So I really hope that she does not start like making us like track what AI tasks we have done, because it's only a matter of time before they realize like, oh, you use it this much on this task. Okay, cool. Maybe we can implement something. Maybe we can do something, you know, to make it easier for you. You go along with it. You think you're doing yourself a favor. You think that they're trying to help you. No company is ever there to help the staff. They are there to cut costs. They are there to maximize profits. And I really hope that she don't start making us like start tracking what we are using AI for.
Before they approve new hires, managers are also going to have to convince basically the company why AI can't do it and why they need a human.
But AI is also changing the application process for people going for these jobs, both in terms of how like the computers are now choosing, sorting through the CV, sorting through tapes that people might send in. So actually choosing who might make it to interview, as well as people using AI to be able to write their CVs and applications and making it harder for them to stand out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically the job application process, and you'll hear this from a lot of young hires, young people in the workforce, that it is changing. Basically, when you used to apply for a job, people used to be involved pretty quickly. They used to look at your resume. They used to maybe give you a call, skim, your skills. But now for lots of companies, the first reader is an algorithm. It's AI. Resumes are getting scanned by AI for keywords. Some firms are using AI chatbots to ask screening questions. Some AI programs are even analyzing video interviews to score your answers. So by the time a human actually looks at your application, you've already been ranked by a machine. So essentially, AI is going to be part of the most important segment of the hiring process, which is the beginning. So a lot of people, even in my close circle, the way that you're applying for a job has changed.
And that just reminded me with this whole digital ID. Imagine if they link that to your score of how your employability is. That is crazy. Some people, you saw that other girl stuck in limbo. You guys will be stuck in fucking purgatory. You will just never get anything ever. You started there, you end there. Like that is it. If you get put in such a low credit score and that starts getting marked into your employability status, you're fucked.
Changed. Like you're going to look at the keywords that you need to put in your application to make sure that you get flagged or chosen by these AI tools. It's very formulaic. That's why a lot of my friends are like, I don't want to write a cover letter. I just want to, go into my resume and put in those keywords that I need.
Who's written a cover letter? I don't think I ever got a job where I wrote a cover letter. That to me, right? I don't know if you guys did it, but when I was really, really young, like 8 years old or maybe a little bit younger than that, we did like some tutor, like the English tutor period where we all dressed up like we were some dork. We had to write like a little letter, like we're a God-fearing kind of person. That's the closest thing that I've ever done to a cover letter. Actually, I lie. I have sent cover letters, but I never got a job by it. Who the fuck is sending them though? But that was just for fun. Like nobody actually took it serious. Like the actors that were there to facilitate this whole historic learning experience, they just took that shit, read it, made a like stupid face, and then just tore that shit up and threw it in the trash. Like we didn't even keep it. I don't know who is actually using that.
To get chosen, because they know that a person is not going to look at their application until much later.
Now let's hear the view from India. I'm speaking to Varun Maya, who's a YouTuber and founder of the generative AI company EOS. Hi.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great to speak to you. So you're based in India. How is AI affecting people's jobs there, and which are the industries that are most affected?
To be very honest, I don't think AI has really affected too many jobs in India, except for a little bit of exposure in software. In India, salaries aren't really, really high. So even if you are using a tool, an AI tool, you'd still want a human being to sort of use that tool and run it because the person has accountability, the person has context. But there's also this huge section of people in India and all over the world that, for lack of a better word, their only job is to translate somebody else's instructions. Somebody else has made those decisions, has decided how it's going to be solved, and they're just translating that into code. The original use case for a transformer was the technology behind LLMs was for translation. So if you are doing that last piece, somebody else has come up with the idea, somebody else has written the spec, somebody else is telling you this is exactly how you need to solve it, this is the algorithm you need to use, and then you're writing the code for it, then you're in trouble. I think we've had 0 people in the team.
So basically, if you don't have critical thinking, you're not really useful. If you're just mirroring somebody else's work or words, it kind of has a point there. If you're not really doing anything that is like intuitive, like, yeah, you kind of are replaceable. You're probably replaceable even back then.
In my avatar team that have lost their jobs. So we've actually had more work and a larger team. In fact, the average creator at about 2 million followers across Instagram, YouTube would have a team of about 10, 12 people. Our team is slightly larger now. It's about 16 people because the quantity of work, we're also in a very hyper-connected.
Damn, 10, 12 people working on Instagram and YouTube. 16 for him. This channel needs to grow.
So this is not 10 years ago where you'd get like 3 or 4 opportunities. Now you're getting like 30, 40 opportunities a month. You want to take all of them on. So we keep expanding the team to absorb some of those opportunities.
Farron, I want to bring it back to grads and grad jobs because there is relatively high youth unemployment in India. I think it's about 16% of under 24. So I want to ask you, given all of the changes to the job market and the technology that we have available, and particularly these roles that we've talked about, the ones that could easily be replaced by AI, what advice would you give to a grad or a student or a young person trying to get a job right now in all of these changes?
What I found to be really great for youngsters is to look at an industry that's growing really fast, but there's increasing demand, but low supply of good talent, or the supply of tools, are not very good. The tools are not very competent at and you feel you have a shot at beating those tools, not just today, but over the next 2-3 years.
I don't know about that. If you can vision it being replaced at some point with realistic kind of like expectations, is that really the advice that you want to be giving? If you ask me, what would be my advice to my kid that's coming up in this kind of world? They're not born yet, so they're not even seeing this. Imagine when they are born and they are working. Things would have changed a lot by then. From what I've been reading, all the information that I've been seeing online and stuff, the thing that everybody seems to circle back to is only people that are really protected are blue collar workers that do jobs that are just unfavorable. Construction workers, things that take time, that are dirty, grimy, something that needs to have like precision, but in like very unique scenarios. So like, for example, no building's the same, no construction's the same. Even if you're building so many of the same identical kind of buildings, right? You're not always going to be able to use that for every single scenario. Corners in a building are always going to be different from the ground, the basement, and the roof. So you may either have to invest like billions upon billions to make something for each level of the floor, or you're going to only invest on a tool that somebody can use, and that'll be a lot more cost effective. Something in that kind of field, I'll probably be telling my kid, like, you either go super creative, be a pop star, some shit like that, or get your hands dirty. If you can do it by yourself at home, that's probably the first things that's going to get taken out by AI. Like, my position could be 100% work from home, truthfully speaking, even though they force us to go in. They're already saying that we're on the chopping block. Telling my kid, like, like, go to school, rack up a debt, come out, get a cushy job. Like, if it's a really cushy job, you're going to be replaceable. That's the way I see it. Like, what kind of cozy job can you really do? Like, maybe a front desk host. Okay, but their average salary is like 24K in London. Like, is that all you're inspiring to be? Like, just having a sit down job? Like, come on. I don't think that's really the right advice he's giving.
Natalia, what would your message be to people who are graduating now in this ever-changing world?
See AI as your co-pilot. AI is going to take care of the menial tasks, the repetitive tasks. Now this is actually giving you an opportunity, for example, in college, to maybe study things that are a little bit more considered soft skills. So again, you're going to study computer science. Why don't you go into philosophy? Why don't you go into psychology? But
why would you go to university to learn soft skills? I could learn the same soft skills doing a part-time job. You telling me that, AI is going to take over everything important. All I need to do is learn how to talk to people and approach them and have like some kind of interaction skill. That to me is stupid. Like, that means the person that goes to university to learn philosophy has the same people skills as the guy that wanted to become an actor that did drama in like GCSEs. That's what you're basically saying. Like, I'm racking up a debt to get like talking skill.
Basically, experts are saying right now is what's valuable are soft skills, critical thinking, judgment, essentially what makes us human. So if you can tap into that, if you can tap into what AI doesn't have, what we can add to the AI process, you're actually maybe going to get a more fulfilling job experience. And again, industries like the healthcare industry or even the green tech industry. And what I mean by that is like, let's say solar panel construction. You're going to want to go to these industries that are using AI, but that also need people in order to think about the ethics of it, in order to think about how to improve these AI systems. We're really going to need to tap into who we are as humans and what makes us human in order to stay competitive in the job market.
And that's why I was saying I would always push my kid to do something that's creative. For example, like singing, rapping, whatever, right? Creating things like music, and even that industry is having AI issues right now. But like, that's the only thing that's really human, quotations human, because nobody really wants to be admitting that they're listening and getting entertainment out of AI slop. Give it some time. The generations will move on. Every 10 years you get a reset of a new generation, and they're going to make you feel old. They're going to make you feel like, damn, you just can't get with the time. And sooner or later, whatever our like thoughts and biases are, it's going to get pushed out anyway. And that's the issue of when everything, all of your principles gets aged out. You're not going to have like what she's saying, what I'm even saying, it's not going to apply in God knows. Like, it could only be like 5-10 years. AI is going pretty quick. This is something that you're just going to have to see. But I think I'm done with this one for now. This was BBC World News. Like, subscribe. I'm going to link them down in the description, but we're not just going to pick up real quick on this other video. I just want to touch on this bit because this is the issue, right? You basically have people interviewing people that couldn't get jobs or like that are struggling to find work, seeing the difficulty, people trying to give you like advice and all that kind of stuff of like, don't worry guys, like we can still do something, even though it looks grim, it looks pretty bleak, like we can still find something, right? This is now Forbes. The reference that they're taking from, and the reference that I'm taking from, is basically the CEO of Fiverr is basically telling his staff and everybody that works on his platform, AI is coming. And even as the CEO of Fiverr, which if you guys don't know, is basically like a website where people can advertise their services. So for example, like if you wanted somebody to do like a YouTube video for you, you could type it into the search and just scroll through and find somebody that makes YouTube videos, and there'll be hundreds, probably thousands of people that make YouTube videos, and you can just check their rates and stuff. So this is the CEO of that company.
Between meetings in April, Misha Kaufman, CEO of the freelance marketplace Fiverr, fired off a memo to his 1,200 employees that didn't mince words, writing, quote, "AI is coming for your jobs. Heck, it's coming for my job too. This is a wake-up call." The memo detailed Kaufman's thesis for AI, that it would elevate everyone's abilities. Easy tasks would become no-brainers. Hard tasks would become easy. Impossible tasks would become merely hard, he posited. And because AI tools are free to use, no one has an advantage.
Exactly. So if things are getting easier, so impossible tasks are becoming hard, hard tasks are becoming easy, and easy tasks are becoming like fucking redundant, how hard is it for a company to streamline processes? Like, I don't know if you guys have heard this in like your workplaces, your interviews and stuff. I heard it in literally my interview today. They want to streamline the process, that everybody does the same way. It sounds good. It sounds like, oh yeah, so like you can help each other and you'll know where to pick up from. No, like think about it in the wider picture. Like if you streamline a process, and AI is getting to a point where it can make an impossible task hard, hard task easy, and an easy task redundant. If you streamline processes, which is normally like your full work role, how long will it take before that full work role is made easy and then made redundant?
In the shuffle, people who didn't adapt would be, quote, doomed. Kaufman tells Forbes now, quote, "I hear the conversation around the office. I hear developers ask each other, guys, are we gonna have a job in 2 years?
This is actually a problem that I thought about recently, because I put out a video not too long ago. It was within this year. I think it was about when I lost my job, like when I had that big break of like no employment. I was like, oh yeah, during this time, and like when I get my new job and I've actually settled in and I know that I can stay there for like at least a good year or two, I'm gonna start doing my studying, you know, I'm gonna start doing my SEMA. Like everything about it was talking about like I need to improve and get better and smarter and and like get my qualifications up, right? But then recently, especially with my partner, she's in the medical field and she's got a master's degree. Like she's already got like top of her class and like all that kind of stuff. She's struggling to find a new role in case something happens, and she's already fearing for her job in the next, like even as close as next March, because they're talking about like, you know, shuffling shit around with the whole NHS and that kind of shit, you know. So whatever, right? I'm not gonna go into it too much because I'm pretty sure she'll talk about it in her own video. But with that in mind, I was looking at it as like, what is the point in doing SEMA? Like what's the point in doing ACA? What's the point in doing SEMA? What's the point in doing ACCA? Whatever kind of course that you had in mind, right? By the time that you finish that course, how far did AI get in their technology? Is it going to be made redundant by the time you finish? And for those that don't know, SEMA, ACCA, ACA are usually like, what is it, like 3-year minimum courses with an average of like 5 years, and some people taking longer if you've got like family and all that kind of stuff. If you've got a 5-year course as an average, how far is AI going to move with that? Like I've seen in videos people saying that AI has got to a point where they're replacing people in law. Like I don't know if they're replacing lawyers, criminal lawyers, like whatever it is, right? But I know that is in law, because there's loads of different aspects of law. If you can replace people in those kind of positions where you need to go through like bachelor's, master's and all that kind of stuff, like you've even got AI going into the medical field trying to replace doctors now. These are people that went through med school. If you can go through 7 to 13 years of your life learning your craft, to then at the end of your finish line expecting a pay raise and a promotion to then just be made redundant. Imagine what it's like for anybody that's doing finance in my positions that do not become a CFO, that do not go into becoming a CEO, financial director, management, and all that kind of stuff, right? You may not get rewarded for the kind of time, energy, and money you sunk into your degree. And that's why I kind of changed my stance on it. So I don't think that's my goal anymore. I'll probably talk about it in another video, what my real goal is. I am putting steps to it though. I'm not just gonna sit here and wait for, you know, the apocalypse. Like I will try my best to build some kind of shelter before hell reigns over. But yeah, let's continue.
I hear developers ask each other, guys, are we gonna have a job in 2 years? I felt like this needed validation from me, that they aren't imagining stuff. Already, younger and more inexperienced programmers are seeing a drop in employment rate. Ruyu Chen, a postdoctoral fellow at the Digital Economy Lab of Stanford's Institute for Human-Centered AI, said that the total number of employed entry-level developers from ages 18 to 25 has dropped, quote, slightly since 2022, after the launch of ChatGPT. It isn't just lack of experience that could make getting a job extremely difficult going forward. Chen notes too that the market may be tougher for those who are just average at their jobs. In the age of AI, Only exceptional employees have an edge.
I think we'll end it there, but I will make one comment though. The fact that you can't be average at a role and you have to be truly exceptional to just keep your role is kind of a piss take. You're telling me that you need to be the overachieving person just to be seen as an average person. So if you do quiet quitting, not allowing your boss to run into your time, you know, your family's time, you're basically possibly seen as not achieving now. The fact that you've got so many other competitive people knowing that their lives are on the line because of a tool, like it was originally just meant to be a tool to help you, it's kind of unfair. You know, like you're being pressured. You're constantly under pressure. That's how I felt in my position. I was constantly under pressure. But this one was nothing to do with AI. This is just because I was being pressured for no reason. But yeah, that's not a fair treatment. You don't go to work to be bullied, just like you don't go to work to blow out every single day. Do you go gym and like work yourself completely sore every single day? Nah, like you need to have some days that you're just kind of okay. Going to work every single day, being expected to do like, you know, overachieving until it becomes a standard. And then what happens when you're not meeting that standard? What happens if for whatever reason your manager or somebody above them decides to go like, hey, I see that this person usually hits these numbers, which is already unrealistic. Why is it on this month they were a little bit lower? I don't know. Maybe they went home on time. Maybe they didn't work through their lunch. Maybe they didn't show up an hour early. You know, like it could be anything. It's not only to do with like doing work in your time. It could be for anything. I don't know if you guys know or like have experienced it, but like I work with a lot of spreadsheets. Staring at that thing for over an hour can start to hurt your eyes. Like you will start to like lose track of what you're even staring at because of how many numbers that you could be staring at. And that's what I do all day, every single day. So yeah, I am going to get up. I am going to stretch my legs. I am going to go get some water. I am going to take bathroom breaks. And if you're telling me that I can't hit numbers that you're looking at if I'm not just at my screen for the full 8 hours, or in my job, 8.5 hours, that's fucked up. Like I want to be able to take a break. I want to be able to just enjoy myself, talk to my colleagues for a bit, go back to work, do it in a nice, relaxed pace. Like I don't like to be constantly rushed with fake pressure. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. This video was by Forbes. AI is already taking our tech jobs. Give it a like and a subscribe. I'll link it down in the description. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.